Parfums Dusita is a formidable challenge to the perfume industry and a super interesting case. Not to discount the fact that it's quite also a test and education for your nose as well. So get excited. It's a really interesting case indeed. All right. Today we are gonna talk about Dusita Parfums or Parfums Dusita, which is an indie brand. This is not just indie. This is the quintessential, I wouldn't say fuck you, but it's the quintessential challenge created in the universe as we know it of a Pisara Umavijani, daughter of a Thai poet, Montri Umavijani, and the whole world kind of broke into pieces seemingly without her trying over, does Dusita have the right to exist, does it not? So, but first things first. The thing that kind of broke people's minds is that Pisara, when she created Dusita Parfums, at that point had no formal education, neither in organic chemistry, nor in perfume marketing or perfume design, materials, nada, at least according to kind of the fairy tale of how this whole thing started. So some of her earlier creations, and I think a lot of people agree, they are characteristic by a more kind of like splashy, almost a thick splashes of color, like kind of painting with a thick brush with just a chunk of paint falling off your brush as you're doing it. And I have tried a fair share of indie craft perfumery and all that like good stuff, not just indie but like small craft indie, and I gotta say rarely ever this really departs away from just buying a bunch of essential oils on Amazon and kind of mixing them on your skin. Nothing against essential oils, nothing wrong with that. It's just a very defined profile and there is not much you can do about it. There is a natural departure point for people who try to mix natural perfumes, and in my view there is a natural cap and the limit of how far and how creative they can go without actually evoking modern chemistry and so-called synthetic compounds. I don't know why people are so afraid of the word synthetic. Nearly everything that surrounds us is made via modern synthetic chemistry, or at least within the presence of such. Anyway, Pisara, the way that she made even her those like early creations were indeed characteristic in the way that they were a bit chunky, but they were not crafty and they didn't feel handmade. Moreover, her unbound enthusiasm, I would highly recommend for you to just like Google Dusita Parfums on YouTube and just watch a few of her interviews. This smiley, tiny, beautiful Thai woman who at the beginning of her journey kind of struggled to even give interviews in English, that's her not native language. She just radiated so much enthusiasm, so much gratitude, and so much happiness that she became kind of like an indie / niche perfume darling. Yet, her creations started slowly but surely acquiring a professional claim. So, as far as I know, Dusita Parfums won in a few fragrance competitions over the years, and it stands kind of on the same confident footing as a lot of other niche brands, Histoire de Parfums, L'Artisan Parfumé, Serge Lutens, and I would even argue a lot of people, especially people who like bright, vivid, diffusive, long-lasting perfumes, fragrances that kind of declare the stage. It's like the way that I think about it, these fragrances are so pro at claiming the space that they don't just enter the room, they audition first before you get there. her perfumes have that kind of vibrant buoyancy. I have slowly acquired here and there a little bit of a collection, and as I'm working through my olfactory shelves and making them available online for you to sample from my very own bottles, you will have access to them as well if you want to split a bottle and try something for yourself. I try, at least personally, I do try to go through samples, decants, as much as I can before I buy the bottles, but being kind of in a blogger space sometimes, I don't know if you can relate to that pain or not. It's not quite as convenient or even conducive to making content if I only have one. So guilty as charged, sometimes I do buy perfume bottles blindly. I do try to curb that activity as much as I can. Otherwise, you will enter a whole new level of pain, and I made a few videos about that before. So perfume shopping obsession, how that starts and how that continues. If you're interested, I'm super happy to make a part 3 about how's it going with that. But anyway, I have acquired Dusita Parfums mostly blindly, with one exception. The first one that actually kind of was an entrance to Pissarra and Dusita, Pissarra's world and Dusita Parfums' world for me was Fleur de Lolita. This is actually a more recent one, not the most, but a more recent one, and let me tell you, it's such a charmer. I got it as part of the blind testing. Again, a reminder, if you want to challenge your nose, if you want to develop your olfactory perception and kind of sharpness, how well you recognize and judge fragrances, I do have an offering that I can compile for you a blind test. It's 8 samples for a very reasonable price, and I can make it thematic or kind of challenge your nose. The best way to develop your nose is to do blind testing, in my opinion. It's very complimentary to just smelling and studying your own perfumes, the ones that you own, but blind testing is one of the best ways to actually start understanding the world of perfumes. So, a subscriber of mine sent me a package with samples, and by the way, if any of you want to, the address is down below. I do love to challenge my nose, and I do often fail in a very public setting. The playlist for my blind tests is going to be below. But back to Fleur de Lolita. I got it in the blind test. I don't even remember if I guessed it correctly. I remember saying it was floral, it was bright, and it was spicy. But I don't think I guessed the main ingredient, which is white lily. Or all kinds of lilies, I think. And as much as I didn't want to like it, because to me it was a little bit up in your face, which I considered somewhat simplistic at the time. So highbrow. I kept coming back to that sample over and over and over again. And when those meager 2 ml were gone, I was like, damn it, I want it. I do want it. And as some of you know, the white lily and lily accord, it's one of my kind of signature, if such a thing exists, signature accords that I always try to smell, always try to study, and very frequently wear. As I learned that the actual white lilies are toxic to cats, and I have a cat, I used to just buy big bunches of white lilies and just have them everywhere in the house. Not anymore. I do want my little kitty to stay alive. I just spray lily scents everywhere. So, I have a collection. I have a collection of lily scents. I have them from Tom Ford, I have them from British brands, I have them from mainstream, and nothing quite compares in cheerfulness, in this pseudo-naive flirtation as Fleur de Lolita. It is not as sharp as green lily scents like Donna Karan Gold. It is not as spicy or heavy as, I'm blanking on it, Lily by Tom Ford. They have 2. Not Shanghai Lily, the other one, Les Fume, I think it's called. it's just all around super flirty. For those of you who care, guys love it. Every time I put it on, that's one of those florals that just like, what was it? It has a lot of diffusion. Not the most sophisticated composition, seemingly, but infinitely charming. Just, it's such a crowd pleaser. Armed with that knowledge, I kind of got out of control. So I got a bunch of things blindly. Let's go one by one. Probably I'll just start with the most challenging to date. This is, no, not this one. Lage Blanc. Oh my. Oh me, oh my. Lage Blanc is an homage, in my view, to Robert Piguet Bandit, to Grès Cabochard, and for those of you who are just don't care, it's about like the history as much. It is a green, herbal, bitter, leathery scent. This is something that everybody thinks would be marketed toward men, but women, well, mostly women wear it. It's just a power bitch kind of a fragrance. It's uncompromising. It's powerfully herbaceously bitter. I think galbanum, maybe angelica, I don't know. There's some components of this that almost start swirling in my brain when I try it. Cabochard or the Perfume is also a beast to wear, but I do manage to wear it. It's like a patent leather shipper kind of thing. I guess the softest, the most, how should I say it? A kind of modernized and easy to wear version of a green leather is Rose Cuir by Frederic Malle, but that one is like walk in the park compared to Cabochard and compared to this. I was looking for Robert Piguet Bandit because it's like the history of leathery shippers. Like I feel like I gotta have it. It's like right now, if you shop in vintage forums and stuff, like over $300 sometimes. And when I started perusing the forums, people were saying Dusita Lage Blanc is just as good, if not even more punchy, deep, and powerful. Well, they got that right. Lage Blanc is just, it's a march. It's a march to the capital of leathery shippers. It takes no prisoners indeed, and I love it, in theory, but I just can't. I can't pull it off. It just kills me how potent and bitter it is. So, somewhat similar, which was a surprise to me, but much more wearable for me personally, is Le Pavilion Door. And Le Pavilion Door is one of those award-winning scents. It actually, in 2019, it won the, I think, Niche Customer Awards. And again, I think Dusita is one of those wonderful examples where the indie perfumer is so eager to connect, not only with, the investors and the customers who pay like premium for some, I don't know, custom Christmas packaging, but also with the bloggers, with the writers, with all communities and every single client. And it pays off. Dusita keeps winning like customer people choice awards, and for a good reason, because again, she creates it from the root, from the heart of Thai culture, and even the name of the perfume brand, right? It all speaks about being happy, being joyful, being one with nature. To me, this is a more wearable, more floral version of Lage Blanc. There's still a lot of white florals that I feel here, and if you read the description online, I actually don't relate as much with the description online because I still find it to be much, I don't find it to be fruity. I don't find like white thyme oil. I don't distinguish these components when I smell it. I just smell a more sweeter, more vanilla plus dark rum bathed type of somewhat bitter wild flowers and herbs. I think it claims to even have mint at the opening. Couldn't tell you. I don't necessarily detect anything specific, but it's just softer, sweeter, and the La Pavilion Door is devoted to just the sense of happiness and the quest for the purity of this joy, the happy feeling of joy. To me, it's actually not as joyful. Like to me, the pure happiness plus a heavy dose of flirtation is Fleur de Lolita. This is just as happy as and giggly as it gets. The Le Pavilion Door to me is actually like pretty high class. I would put it on for a night at the symphony, a night at the opera, if I was going to a more kind of upscale restaurant, or like was surrounded by a company of, you know, highbrow intellectuals, people that I wanted to impress, and yet still remain soft. Like pretty much, it was if I was pretending to be a mixture between Kate Blanchett and Tilda Swinton. That's it. That's what I would wear. I do wear it. To me, it's still a very sophisticated and not so easy perfume to wear just because of that slight herbaceous bitterness. And I don't know if this is part of the olfactory heritage from Pissarra's childhood and the way that she grew up and what people wore and the sense that she was surrounded with. Probably so. But I find these creations to be as complex as they are bright. They are definitely bright. That thing for sure is the DNA of the brand, and I hope that Pissarra doesn't get swayed by there's diversification for the sake of the diversification, starts making everything for everyone, because so far things that I've tried for her, like in these three, they line up so nicely while being sufficiently different to deserve to be, you know, their own name and their own category of a scent. And the last one that I got just out of sheer curiosity, not, some of you will be surprised, I'm actually not that big on irises, even though somebody called me Tweety. Like, oh, you're so proper, you're so Tweety. It's like, oh, little that you know me. Irises I do associate with these kind of like wallflower perfumes, you know, like if you're like a librarian or a bookkeeper. But when I tried these three, I thought I gotta try the Splendiris. I gotta try it because I'm curious how Pissarra, how Dusita Parfums, what is the take on iris that they will have. So Splendiris, I don't know how exactly to pronounce that, surprised me beyond belief. It's still sharp and bright in its olfactory blending. It has the same kind of feel of somewhat sharp angles as other ones. And yet, I would never ever guess that Dusita would make iris so. I thought that Dusita's iris would be sweet. I don't know why. Somewhat like Lipstick On by Maison Margiela. But no, this is powdery, dusty, and again, herbaceously bitter. Everything, maybe like Fleur de Lolita being somewhat of an exception, everything that I feel here has a lot of these, I almost want to say galbanum or like dried herbs, sort of bitter potion kind of quality to it. So this is one of those most bitter, austere, but ringing irises that I've ever tried. And the fact that it's so ringing, it's so sharp, that's what makes it not boring. Because I have a collection, I don't know how, but do have a collection of molecular irises, and that's the kind of irises that, like Iridel by nomenclature, Iris Rebel, if I'm not mistaken, by Atelier Cologne, and others. Molecular irises tend to be kind of woody, dry, a little powdery, and not a hint of sweetness. This is that, but much, 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 much more like powerhouse of a dry, bookish, powdery, somewhat bitter iris. It was the biggest surprise that I've had so far when I bought something blindly from a brand that I thought I knew. I'm still working on this Splenda iris. I'm still trying to find my place with it, and to be honest, I feel this is something that I might start layering. Again, there's something here that, not that it needs any depth or any brightness, but I feel like it's just too, it's like a rock that I have to climb with bare hands to me. Like I feel like I need to like soften my sand with Splend Iris. I don't know, if you tried it, let me know what was your experience. If you do layer any of the Dusita Parfums, let me know how. I feel like I want to give it a go in combination of maybe sweeter but simpler perfumes, just to give them a bit of a kick. That might be interesting. When it comes to the overall review, as I told you, clearly these two are favorites. Fleur de Lolita, like above and beyond of everything else that I've tried from Dusita. I don't know how she cracked the code of flirty, but it's like the paragon of flirty. When it comes to lilies and florals, Le Pavilion Door is such a like rich bitch kind of fragrance. It has class. I cannot see every single person wear it, and that's what makes it so good. You're gonna be so different, so unique if you wear this. And the other two, I mean, this is a powerhouse for sure, but the Lage Blanc has teeth. I haven't conquered that one yet. Splend Iris is a mystery for now, and I'll keep working on that one. That's what I have from Dusita. I know that they also have mist offerings. I'm split on that. Usually hair mists and body sprays are a really nice entrance to any brand, especially brands that are very powerful like Memo, Amouage, Dusita, things of that nature. At the same time, if that's your first ever experience, I feel like it's deceiving, because in a way, as shocking as it might be, trying some of these in their full eau de parfum glory is a proper way to introduce yourself to the brand. To that end, again, you can get a sample from me, and I also can offer you like a very cute trio to try, so you can kind of like go do more than one at once. If you want something specific, I have that too as an offering. If you are willing to shell a little bit more money, the travel sprays that Pissarro has designed for her brand are so good. There are pretty much 3 brands which I consider to be the masters of travel spray packaging. Everything else just boring and not worth the money in my view. No different from any decant place you could get a sample. But Dusita Parfums, Histoire de Parfums, oh, I adore their like e-cigarette cases for travels. And the third one, oh, I'm blanking on it. I think it is Mugler. Like when they had their travel kind of like icicles for, I think it was for angel fragrances. Oh, they're so beautiful. It's just a pleasure to hold them. They're almost like a jewelry piece you want to wear. So yeah, check her out, her website, if you want to split a bottle with me and to support my channel, what I do. I'll leave the link below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to send me a coin via a donation, like, subscribe. If you are curious about my take on some other perfume house, leave a comment below and I'll try to pull something together. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.